Ahom Prema. Ahom Prema. Ahom Prema. Ahom Prema. Ahom Prema. Ahom Prema or Aham Prema means I am divine love. I am divine love. And I'm going to be talking to you about good men based on a video that's really triggering the shit out of people that my son created, based on a situation that is from a personal mutual. And excuse me, I gotta clear my throat because what I'm about to say is going to trigger people. Trigger men, actually. Maybe women, I don't know. A good, healthy man has a wide, expansive palate. And he will have no type. No type. And I mean that. He will date petite women. He will be into tall women. Women who are 5'10" or 6 foot. He will admire the spectrum of beauty from a size 0 to a size 18, 20. I'm actually not kidding. And because when you go to a buffet, you're not just going to eat the pretzels. You're not going to eat the hotel cookies all day long. You have an expansive palate. That doesn't mean you're going to have sex with the expansiveness of your interest or what you admire. Okay? I've seen men like Orson Welles. I had a crush on Orson Welles. Am I into big men like that? No. It's not my type, quote unquote, my type. But I loved his mind. I loved how he thought. I loved his wit. So he was my type, right? For that moment, because I loved his mind. There's an old saying that's very outdated. It's a saying, it says, men fall in love with their eyes, women with their ears. And I used to be convinced that was a fact, but I'm not convinced anymore. Women with their ears. And I used to be convinced that was a fact, but I'm not convinced anymore. But I'm not convinced anymore. And fall in love with another person's soul. And his type was never a redheaded girl with the freckles all over her body. Suddenly she becomes his type because he falls in love with her soul. Beauty comes in all forms. Beauty, whether it's the beauty of a man or the good looks of a man, comes in all forms. I have a type. My type is over 6 foot. Have I dated men who were 5'7"? Yes, I have. I have. And I've had some relationships with men who I really did love. At the time, whatever love, I should say I was in love, which was, and they were 5'7", 5'6", my height. But do I have a preference? Well, I can't really say because in truth, is the preference based on the souls that embodied those men that were all over 6'2"? Would I go with any man who's over 6'2"? Probably not. Not at all. I've seen guys that were absolutely drop dead gorgeous that I could have dated when I was in my 20s and 30s and so forth. And I did not. I did not. Well, first I was married, for one thing. That was, right there. But I remember sitting with that going, God, he's really gorgeous. Why am I not into him? And it wasn't that it wasn't my type. It was that the soul connection was absent. There was no soul connection. And that's what men need to learn, that most women who are wise, in the wisdom of their root chakra, understand. Sorry about my throat. Today is like, I've been fighting a thing. And it's always trying to get me, but it never does. It's funny. Anyway, so what should I say that's going to help you understand what I mean? When a man has only one type, I'm sorry, men, it's a fucking red flag. It's like going to the buffet and only doing the omelet stand, and you're just getting 2 eggs scrambled, and that's all you're going to eat. When there's a whole fucking buffet of things to try, of women to experience, platonically or sexually. And that's why men have a problem with twin flames. Because the irony of ironies, and this is a fact for the most, I mean, I'd say they're giving me a number, 65% of the time, your twin flame isn't your type. Not really, okay? I'll give you an example. My personal one. My husband, my high-level soulmate, was drop-dead gorgeous. Widow's peak, green eyes, gorgeous skin, 6'2", broad shoulder, the whole bit, the whole package. He was the package. And my twin was also a gorgeous man, but he was more of that Irish look, right? Completely opposite of my husband. And who was African American mixed with a lot of Native American. You could see it in the plane of his cheekbones. You could see it in his beautiful almond eyes, his long black lashes. He was completely different, okay, than my Irish twin. Completely. Total opposites. But both of them had a soul I recognized. And that's what made me very much attracted to them. And I was not, I'm going to be honest, I was not their usual type in the concept of type. But they were crazy about me. Because we were twin. You know, my husband and I were high-level soulmates. And my twin and I were twins. No kidding. And so this concept that a man, and this is problematic with the masculine twin. I see it again and again. Where they'll come across their twin who is not conventionally pretty. Or maybe she's conventionally beautiful. Maybe she is. You know, some of you are beautiful women in your own right. But you don't have the right hair color or the right race or whatever the hell it is. And this is why a lot of twins have an age gap that's massive from the feminine to the masculine to feminine, 15 years, 20 years age gap, race gap, religion gap, type gap. But it is really problematic for the masculine twin because the masculine twin has set in his hat, in his little cap, with the porn he's consumed on his type, right? Quote unquote type, that this is what he is into. In some sense, he's reprogrammed, he's rewired and fired new synapses to support that quote-unquote type, which can be hacked out of course. And he is actually standing in front of you going, I don't understand. Why is the sex so good? Well, because she's your twin flame. Hello, wake up. She may be an A cup and you're into double Ds. She may be 5'10" and you're into petite girls. Whatever it is, wake up. It's a soul connection. It has nothing to do with the fact that you have a fetish for red hair and she has black raven hair. And this is where men need to grow the fuck up. I'm sorry. Grow the fuck up. While you're single, you know, if you're going to, you know, be a player, try different things. Try different women. I know I'm not here to brag, but by the time I was, 21, before I met my husband, I had tried I swear to God, different races, different types, different heights. And I can still count them on 2 hands, okay? Just on the side note. But each one was completely different from the other. You could call it curiosity. I don't know, whatever. But to be honest with you, in my opinion, it's healthy. It's healthy. There are people who will not go away from their race. That's insane to me. Insane. Who fucking thinks like that in the 21st century? In fact, 3,000 years ago, no one thought like that. 2,000 years ago, no one thought like that. No one thought like that. That is a pretty recent propaganda that was pushed in particular by the 19th century archaeologists, anthropologists, and historians. For the purpose, one of the purposes, I'm going to be straight up, to keep the slave trade alive. Just so you know. You have to dehumanize people, you're going to dehumanize. How do you do it? You write the books, you write the history. The conquerors write the story. We know this. So this concept of type that is so toxic because it has many levels of fetishes. There's this chick that has large dark eyes and red, like ginger hair. I used to see her on my feed all the time. I don't know what happened. But she used to talk about fetishes, actually. And she was brilliant. She was scholarly about it. She would talk about it, like fetishes of bodies, fetishes of racial types and so forth. And she went down the rabbit hole. She had a huge following. I wish the fuck I knew her name so you guys could follow her. She's brilliant. And I used to follow her until October 7th began. And then all hell broke loose, right? But the twin flame masculine has to grow up. Because the woman who is your twin, she's your fucking twin, may not have the ski slope nose or the blonde hair or the jet black hair or the dark skin or whatever you're into, right? That's your thing. But she's your twin and you know it. You feel it. When you make love to her, you know it's different. It's never been like that with anyone else. And yet you reject her based on the catalog of what you think is your type. You reject her based on the fact that it makes no sense in your little monkey brain of 3D perceptions that are all illusions. You're not looking at her through soul's eyes to soul's eyes. You're looking at her through a catalog eyes, through 3D, like you're shopping for your perfect woman. And that's toxic as fuck. Because some twin flames will be, I'm going to give you a scenario. The man's 35, the woman's 55. She doesn't dye her hair. She's got white hair. And whatever skin color race she is. And it doesn't make sense, but you can't stop wanting to be with her. And you love her smell and the sound of her voice and the way she tilts her head and the way she laughs. You don't know why. You can't, you think about her when you're with somebody else. You compare her and it makes no sense on the concept of, going through a catalog looking for a sports car or whatever you're shopping for. This is not shopping. This is not hunting for a woman. This is not going to the bar and picking out the hottest chick. This is deep. This is soul connection that goes back millions, probably trillions of years. Who am I to give it a timeline? And this is really superly, I'm going to tell you a story because you need to understand how deep this shit goes with men. Because men are fucking funny little creatures. When we have been masculines, we did the same fuckery, by the way, just on the side note, just in case you were thinking we're so superior. I'll never forget, my mom and I used to have, again, remember, my mom was French. And there's a sense of sexuality and openness in at least with my mom, in French culture, my uncle, my mom, all of us, about just clarity and transparency. So with that said, so I remember her telling me that my dad, they would have the best fucking sex. I mean, it was famous, okay, how great the sex was with each other. And when they were first kind of dating, he would go out, and she knew it, by the way, and he would try other women. I kid you not, try other women. And then come back to her to compare. And he couldn't, it made no sense. Because on paper, visually, she was not, quote unquote, his type. By the way, I'm not saying they were twin flames. I'm not. But they were high level soulmates. And he couldn't figure it out. Could not. And eventually they married. Okay? And he realized that she was always the safe harbor. She was always giving him that expansive sexuality and sensuality that he could not get with other women. Could he get nookie? Could he get game? Fuck yeah. But was he getting the fulfilling meal that my mother could give him? And if you guys have never had these conversations with your parents, I don't know, man. Fucking your parents were sexual. That's why you're here. So if you can't wrap your brain about your parents being sexual, on a side note, check yourself. I'm not kidding. I'm being very honest. That's why you're here. Because they did the big do, and then you were conceived. So conversations like that, in my humble opinion, is healthier than anything you can imagine. Because it gave me an understanding as a woman in my mid-20s, understanding with my mother, wow, okay, so this is a thing. That men will actually compare, because their little 3D brain, controlled by their root chakra, if you get my drift, wink, wink, is really confused. Absolutely confused. So I'll tell you a story of my twin's brother, who was at the gym. He's a good-looking guy. He's like 6'5", fucking built like a brick shit house. And he meets this girl in the gym, face like an angel, body like a goddess, blah, blah, blah. You get the picture. And they get a room. He's like, oh my God, I got the girl in my dreams. And his root chakra can't rise to the occasion. Okay, so he's like, oh my God, give me a chance. So he goes to the gas station to get the rhinos. You get what I'm saying? And they do the do. And guess what happens? He says, you want to cuddle? You want some breakfast? You want the blah, blah, the whatever, the however. And she's like, get off me. I want to take a shower. He's like, whoa. She says, yeah, that was great. Okay, I just, I don't like to cuddle. I'm not affectionate like that. That's like really creepy. And he was shocked. Girl of his dreams. Remember, his root chakra had to be forced to perform. And he said, I don't get it. I go, what do you mean you don't get it? Your body was saying no. Your body was wise. Your body knew she was a weirdo. You were so busy looking at what she looked like, you forgot to check in with your soul. And your body was telling you no. And you insisted. So, of course, it responded. And there you have it. She's a weirdo. And he was like, what the fuck? I go, yeah, that's how soul connections work. In other words, when there's no soul connection, when there's no, in other words, it's a fucking no, you should listen to your body. This is what I tell women. If your body's shutting down, if your body's getting sick, if your body, whatever it is, whenever you're intimate with a person, it's a fucking no. Your body's saying it's over. It's not right. It's not good. I don't care what the person looks like, how much money they have in the bank. It's over. Or it should never begin in the first place. The soul connection is so deep that your entire body opens up like a gateway to the abundance of this connection. When it is not correct, when it is not right, it doesn't matter if it's your type or if on a catalog picture this is what you should go for, because on paper they have all the qualities and all the things in the material world and the physical aspect that you're looking for. If your body says no, it's a fucking no. And what's interesting is I've had women tell me, women in their 40s, 50s, women who should know better, 40s, 50s, 60s. Well, sex is only going to last like 15 minutes. It's only twice a week. How important is that? Everything. It's actually the most important, because this is the foundation you're building. Afterwards, if you become like, I don't know, you're old or there's an illness and that can no longer be achieved, right? The foundation of that is going to feed your relationship years after, say, a person's too ill with the big C or is on their deathbed or whatever, where that's not longer. It's still present. It's still this energy of this incredible connection that said, yes, you are mine. I am yours. We are bound. You are my high-level soulmate, or you are my twin. But to force anything is actually, they're telling me to say, I'm sorry to say that, demented. Because it's you going through society's norms. You're going through societal projections of what they think is good for you. Let me tell you a story of a hypnotherapy session I did 2 years ago. I never forgot it. And I've brought it up once before in her life, but I think I'm going to bring it up again. This client came to me, and we for some reason, we went into a past life where she was, and I think it was like 3,000 years ago. We didn't know if it was Turkey, Syria. We didn't know where. We didn't know, but definitely Europe, somewhere in Europe or somewhere mid-Asia, whatever, right? Okay, I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with Greece. Let's just go with Greece, just for the purpose of the story. And the rest is all verbatim. And she had fallen in love with a man. And this man was not what her family, her grandmother, her mother, the village would accept at all. Okay? And she knew that if she married him, in other words, if she did if she bounded herself in ceremony to him, she would lose her connection with her mother, her grandmother, and the village. And she chose him above them. Well, no kidding, because the soul connection is always stronger than a mother in this incarnation, or a grandmother or a father in this incarnation. The soul connection is way older than the womb that bore you, obviously. I hope you know that. But anyway, and so they got together and they took off. And they built a life in I mean they must have traveled a long way. And they traveled to a place where they were in a community that supported them. They had like 3 children. They had an amazing life. And I don't know why I asked this while she was in hypnotherapy, but somebody asked, it was like something pushed me to ask, did anyone benefit after you guys were gone? How did that work? And she said, it benefited 5 generations out. In other words, the story of these 2 people. Remember when Grandma Jones ran away with Grandpa Joe? Remember how they chose love over everything. That story impacted 5 generations out. That's how important it was. So when people act like, I can't marry, it's the 1780s, I can't leave my wife, or I can't do that, or I can't do, this was before IDs. This was before people could fucking figure out who you really were. You could come up with any fucking name. You could come up with any fucking documents you wanted. You know that, right? So if you really wanted to marry someone in the 1700s, 1500, whatever, you could do it. That's the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to escape their families, to come into union, to go away, and to start a new life somewhere. And it went fucking pear-shaped. It got fucked up because too many people got involved. Too many. This is why it's in twin flame connections, you got to be very careful how many people you get involved in your story. Very, very careful, because they will fuck you up. And this is why I'm always mentioning Romeo and Juliet, and I'm always mentioning Othello. 2 perfect fucking stories of twin flames going fucking kaput. Okay? Because of outside influences. Have you noticed? Do you guys know this story? If not, study it. Get a fucking cliff note. Just read the cliff notes. Fuck it. And you'll get the sense of what I'm saying. Very important stories. Because both of them show us that we can be very easily manipulated by others because we are at a weakest point. And when we are at a weakest point, we will listen to advice like, there's plenty of fish in the sea. Men get very easily influenced by their male friends. Their toxic, playboy male friends. I see it all the time. All the fucking time. The men that I feel are doing the work, to be honest, it's fucking lonely for them. They're lone wolves. They don't hang with their male friends. Or they haven't for a long, long, long fucking time because they don't want to drink anymore. They don't want to chase PUSSI anymore. They don't want to do that shit anymore. They're done. And that's where they're at. And there's something fantastic about that. Those men are fantastic because they want to figure themselves out. Some of you have to come in, there are incels, and then there are divine masculines who choose celibacy. That's 2 different consciousness. Okay, let's not confuse the 2. We're like balling up nectar with trash in one fist, and that's not fair. Incels are fucked up. Period. Celibate divine masculine going on the lone wolf journey, the walkabout, if you will, is massively to be respected and honored for what it is. And we have allowed women, bitter women who haven't been in dog years, I hope you get the wink wink drift, who are bitter as fuck. Here's a good example. The View. The View is a perfect example of women who I don't think have ever been made love to correctly. Just so you know. I'm sorry if that offends you. Oh my God, that's so offensive. No, it's a real thing. It's a real fucking thing. Because I've seen women who are celibate and have been celibate for 12, 13 years that look luscious, goddesses, gorgeous. But bitter women are fucking awful. They're an awful influence to other women. That's not feminism. That's brittle, narcissistic rage against women and men. There's a difference. So let's not confuse incels with celibate men who are doing the lone wolf journey, trying to heal themselves, realizing they're not good for anyone. And they do. They'll say that. They'll say that to me. I'm not good for anyone. I'm fucked up. I need to figure out what the fuck happened. Like, how did I become this? Because I don't want to be this anymore. I'm not, I can't. Some of them are brilliant, gorgeous. They could go to any, get a chick for the night, but they don't, because it's over. It's done. One of the guys doing that is Lenny Kravitz. And when I found out Lenny Kravitz was fucking celibate, I went, holy fuck, what happened to him? What is he working on? What is he doing? Right? And you'll see these men going, I've been single for such a long time. It's going to be a compelling, and women are saying it too, but men are saying it too. It's going to be a compelling person to come in and that I will bring into my life. Women are saying it, but men are saying it too. Both gorgeous or good looking or whatever the fuck you want to say about the physical aspects, okay? Since that seems to matter to people. Whatever they look like, they are in their power. And you have to admire that. So going back to my original, which was a type, which men have a problem with. And this is what some men are working on, is they're working on that. They're working on, where did I learn this? Why was this brought into my my field? Who taught me that? How was I influenced in that this is the standard of feminine beauty? Why is that in my fucking cache, in my cookies in my head? And I think that a really good man understands that and is going to make sure that he can overcome that, because it's not going to bring him love. It's like, all I want to eat for the rest of my life are pretzels. Okay? But if he actually expands himself to realizing that soul connection is going to be more important than what a person looks like, then the woman actually will become her best. I've seen men, in fact, there was a guy that I saw, him. Clearly they were twin flames, in my opinion. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm correct, but I'm going to say I am. And this man fell in love with this woman who was like 250 pounds. He was absolutely a powerful bodybuilder, beautiful body, right? And because he loved her, she started going into the gym with him. He started training her, not because he wanted her to be like, because he chose her, as she was. And little by little, she ended up getting stacked, meaning fucking powerful. She melted the fat off, and she didn't do it out of pressure. She did it because the habit of being with him, the joy of being made love to, you could see it in her eyes. He was making love to her like she was a goddess, and she was. At 250 pounds, at 220 pounds, at 180 pounds, until she hit her weight. He fell in love with her. And her body caught up with his love, with her own love, with her own acceptance. He is a very rare man. And he ended up with a gorgeous goddess. She was always a gorgeous goddess in his eyes. It was interesting. And I followed them for a long time. I don't know where they are. I wish I could refer them to you, because I'd love for you to see that journey, because it was so beautiful to watch. It was so heartwarming to see a man who could actually go past. There was another man there was a woman who in Canada had a double mastectomy, and she had an angel tattoo on her chest, and she could wear leather jackets because she had no breasts, right? Obviously, right? And again, he was a personal trainer. He was 6'4", gorgeous, large blue eyes, bald, beautiful face. She was beautiful, red hair, short. You might have seen her. And hopefully she did not pass away. She had a lot of physical problems. And he married her, fell in love with her, married her, and they had a baby. Beautiful journey to watch. To watch somebody fall in love with a woman's soul and not what she looked like. And there was nothing wrong with her not having breasts. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. But I can tell you, as I did my studies in my artwork and my book on breast cancer survivors with a body transformation. And I'm not talking about old women, older women like my age. I don't, oh my God, I understand you're trying to survive, but I'm talking about, this book was not for you or women my age. It was for women who were in their 20s in their 30s looking at wanting babies, wanting to be married, wanting to be engaged, wanting that wedding cake. Okay, the book was for that, for those women who are now facing their, mortality and a body transformation. And to see some of these men step up, men that weren't going through the process. In other words, they met them after the fact of the double mastectomy or single mastectomy and said, I love you. I want you. I remember connecting with Playboy magazine saying, you've made a shitload of money off TITS. Why don't you do a spread on women that don't have them anymore and change the story of what is beautiful? They never responded. Of course not. Of course they knew. They would never respond, because to actually have women, gorgeous women, pretty women, good-looking women, whatever women, older women, posing in the in their skivvies, in their birthday suits, whatever, since we have to be careful and act like we're 12 when we're talking to each other. But okay, let's move on. And show men buying Playboy that beauty comes in multiple ways. It is presented to you, and the feminine energy of femininity is not defined by a C cup or an A cup or double D or G. It isn't. That's not what makes a woman a woman. That's not what makes her feminine. And men need to fucking grow up. Grow the fuck up. Men that know that are alpha males because they take care of their own. There's a professor that did a kind of a flip on the alpha male. And he said that the alpha male concept was based on alpha wolves in jail, meaning in real wolves in captivity. Okay? That's what it was based on, which is erroneous. Real alpha wolves, aka alpha males, real men, take care of the elderly, the young, and all of the above. And they see everyone with equality in terms of the care each individual needs in the wolf pack. That's a real alpha male, alpha female. That means that if his she-wolf comes to him with a paw missing or a leg missing, which can happen, and she survives it, he's not going to not be her mate. Do you know how many men have said, and I swear to God, because I talked to many, many women who were going through chemo and going through a single or double mastectomy, saying, I didn't sign up for that. I don't want a woman with no breast. And women allowed themselves to perish, leaving orphan children. I remember reading an article of a young woman in her 20s in the elevator with her first date going, when do I tell him I do not have NIPPLES? When do I mean, it was a mantra in her head. She could not, like she was trying to figure out when is a good time. Men, grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up. Because they've done studies that when men get sick, women will take care of your ass, diaper your ass, and take care of you. And feed you, spoon feed you. And you men, most of you, will walk the fuck out the door saying, I didn't sign up for this. Wake the fuck up. Real men, you've seen the stories of men devoutly, devotional, loving to their wives going through Alzheimer's and all the changes, or the big C, and taking care of them like babies and carrying them to the bathtub to give them baths. Those are real men. Those are real men. Those are alpha males. Alpha male is not defined by how much testosterone you have. Alpha male does not mean you're 6'5" with big ass muscles. Alpha male is a sense of protecting the weak with a fierceness and a devotion and a loving touch that no other man can match. Sadly. Masculinity is not defined by the fact that you can actually do 15 rounds in a boxing ring. It's not defined by that. It's defined by the fact that you make a woman feel safe as she transitions from being a childbearer, a mother, menopause, maybe disease, and you're still there, and you still love her, and you still take care of it. You don't have some side chick you're effing while she's going through chemo. You're not having a side chick while she's in labor. That's a beta fucking male. You are a weak fucking man. You're weak because you're controlled by your root chakra and whatever the fuck it wants. And the bling blings that walk by through your doors, your eyes, your friends. Oh my gosh, she's hot. Going to Hooters to get your burger and your beer. You're a weak fucking beta male. I'm calling you out. Fuck you. I'm serious. Fuck you. You're a loser. Men that are what I've just described are real men. And you want to figure out what a man is? I've just told you. My son always teases me saying, you're always saying you're more of a man than most men. I said, Baron, my son, my beautiful son, that's the last thing I'd want to be is more of a man than most men. And most women are more of a man than most men. And that's pathetic because none of us want to be more of a man. I did not incarnate as a woman to be a man. I incarnated as a woman to be in my Shakti energy, but because most men are weak and beta, and in fact, the word beta is actually, is there another word like zeta? The lowest level of letters I want to share. You're a zeta. You're not even a beta. That's actually too polite. Women are raising their children alone because we have too many zetas. And when a real alpha comes into play, it makes zetas uncomfortable. And you want to put those true alpha males down and have the audacity, the mendacity to call them betas. I think what needs to happen is for many men, the red pillars, those dangerous red pillars who are out there with their misogynistic attitude towards women, going through certain types of women who are subservient. Meanwhile, laws are being passed where 9-year-olds are now allowed to be married, pushed off to marriages. And not enough men are calling that shit out. I'm not seeing Western men doing videos on that shit. I'm seeing women. Why is that? Well, because you're zetas. You're not betas. That's too good for you. You're not even B class. You're fucking down at the bottom of the fucking ramp. And I say this because I proudly have been raised by alphas. My lovers have been alphas. The key men in my life have been alphas. Every blue moon I've had a beta. It didn't last long. I think it was a one night stand, to be honest. It was like, oh yeah, bye. Not even. Like, yeah, portal's closed. Sorry. Don't settle, women, for betas. Don't settle for zetas. Don't settle for bullshit. Settle for what you see as a nurturing man. A man who's strong in his own sense, who's very clear in his own boundaries, who is doing his work. That is a divine masculine. Okay? That is a divine masculine. Don't look at what is on paper. Don't look at what's in a picture. Don't look at the size of his biceps or the size of his neck or chest or thighs. That's not what makes an alpha male an alpha male. We have to redefine masculinity. We are the ones birthing these men into the world. We are the ones raising them, and we need to raise them with honor, integrity, and love, and to teach them the love of nature. And when you love nature, you are connected to your feminine side. I'm sorry, when in fact, intuition, psychic energy is a feminine skill set. Feminine. That means when a real man is connected to himself, he is connected to his feminine energy as well. And his psychic energies are downloaded with ease. Too much testosterone, too much of it. And there is such a thing as too much. I mean, clearly, right? We had bodybuilders using it, female bodybuilders, and they were, morphing into something else. Let's just put it that way, without putting any woman down. Because there were some wonderful women that I admired as bodybuilders that were badasses. Don't get me wrong. But they were doing it for the purpose of competition. And too much of it is too much. You've got to balance your shit out. And most women who are more men than most men don't want to be. Mark my word. But most women have never been truly cared for by a man. They've never been truly contained by a man. Not controlled, contained, meaning wrapped in that love. Encircled by this beautiful love. Do you know how many men I've met who don't even know the color of their women's eyes? I swear to God, I didn't even think it was possible. They don't even know the nuance. If they don't know that your hazel eyes have gold in the middle and a gray tinge around it and some green and some brown, light brown in your eye, if they don't know that, what the fuck are they looking at? Because I know you know their eye color. I know you as women know their eye color. In fact, you know that their eyes are gray with some blue and a little bit of green in them. I know you know. I know you know. I know you know the color of their lashes and how long they are. I know you know their favorite color, and I know you know their favorite food. An alpha male does as well. A beta zeta male does not. You know why I know that? You know when I learned that? I was 22 working at a pearl shop. And a man was coming in for his 28th anniversary. 28th anniversary. And we had blue pearls and green pearls and white pearls and cream pearls, all kinds of fucking pearls. And I asked him, well, what color is her eyes? He couldn't answer the question. 28 years in a marriage, could not answer the fucking question. That's when I first learned men on that level. Because I'd been raised by my alpha male dad, who actually would go and take my mom shopping in lingerie shops in Rome, get her shoes made, get her clothes made. We'd be working with the designer, looking at silks and different nuance of colors of pink. Who the fuck does that? Alpha males. Alpha males do that. In fact, we see that in mafioso movies where the guy has got an apron on making pasta for all the men on the table, nurturing, making pasta sauce. Men fucking cook really well. Men know how to make bread really well. Don't put men down who know how to fucking cook. We have to, as women, raise these boys into those kinds of men that are fully fucking empowered in their feminine and masculine side. We have to raise real alpha males, and not this bullshit that we've been fucking shoved down our throats. And we better do it soon, because we have one generation to fucking clear up this fucking mess. Because we should not have incels, red pillars, beta, zeta, running around fucking controlling the gene pool of what's to come next. And we have weak mothers. There are a lot of women who are weak, okay? There are a lot of mothers who are exhausted. Because, I remember one of my girls that I went to school with, in private school in New York City, 1979, going on to the 80s. She was 13 years old. She was biracial. She was half Korean and half white. And her mother, to get her into that private school, because in those days going to a public school in New York was fucking dangerous. Just saying, fuck it, I'm going to say it. And that woman was working 3 fucking jobs. That kid was a latchkey kid, and that kid was dating men in their 30s. Okay, who raised those men to think that was normal? And this was not a one-off. This is something I grew up watching. This was not a one-off. So somebody raised those boys to turn into boys. So we have an ER right now in how we raise these boys into grown, beautiful, strong, capable, nurturing, loving, safe men. Safe men. And that's going to take you educating yourself as a feminine who is raising those boys into men. And that takes you having the hard conversations about sex and drugs and everything in between that and what it means, and be really fucking honest with them when they're 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes, that's right. That's when you start. You don't start having it when they're fucking 16, hiding behind their bangs. Okay? That's not when you start. You start very young so that you know that they can tell you anything and ask you fucking anything, and they're safe. And you will never ridicule them or laugh at them, or they are safe to ask anything. to expose anyone to you. That door needs to be wide open 24/7. You're never too busy to take their calls at the office job. Never too busy. Never. If your kid calls, you know it's serious. And you need to excuse yourself. Okay? If you're in a fucking meeting, text them back. I'll call you as soon as I'm done at a meeting. Just hold that thought. Don't you dare forget that thought. What you have to share with me is important. And we need to raise girls the same way. Obviously. That's without saying. Obviously. And we need to make sure that girls understand their innate beauty. That their mind makes them as beautiful as their bodies. It's not one or the other. It's both. It's take care of yourself, love yourself, do the best you can. But you are not to be judged by how you look, but how you think, how you feel, your passions, your fire, your creativity. That's what lights up your body, your face, your eyes into something that is compelling, stunning, charismatic, magnetic. I mean, so many fucking women look like cookie cutters. They're all going to the same plastic surgeon. Chicks are going to the plastic surgeon as fucking, I'm not joking, as young as 15 to get a C cup. What the fuck? A D cup? Are you kidding me? And parents are allowing it. And doctors, as long as they get paid, they don't care. So we have like an imbalance that's really, really, truly imbalanced. Some of the most famous women in the world were never compellingly beautiful in the sense of that. I'm thinking of Maria Callas. Okay, sure. Angelina Jolie played her, but if you really look at the woman, but she was. It was beauty in motion, and it was her talent. It was how she thought. Jackie O, elegance over conventional beauty. I mean, if you had to put Marilyn Monroe next to her, you can't compare. One's incredibly elegant. There's something striking about elegance. And one was sexy, different. But wow, right? Oh, and speaking of which, the same man was attracted to two different types of women. Did you notice? Real men don't have types. The problem with the men that have been raised through the hundreds of years is this idea that they can actually be, that it's okay to have a side chick, it's okay to be polyamorous without telling the wife or the girlfriend or the fiance. The problem is that you, in those locker room talks and this attitude that it's okay to cheat and all that shit, like you've been taught that by other men, and you know damn well that's not okay. You know fucking well it's not okay. And lone wolf masculines, no, it's not okay. That's why they don't have friends, a lot of friends, or none at all anymore. They've had to cut all these bastards out of their lives. And they're licking their wounds and trying to reset themselves back to zero. And it's a lonely fucking time. In fact, any of us who are starseeds know how often we've had to walk alone. Massively lonely. Dark night of the souls. Not one, many. And our societal norm, through Playboy Mansion fucking stories, through, oh my God, I'm on the cover of Playboy. Like that's a flex. What the fuck have we done to allow these weird, creepy fucking men to dictate how society should be? Remember, we used to have Playboy clubs all over this country. It was considered a flex. Private club. Fuck, even Gloria Steinem got into the fray. She actually drank the Kool-Aid, wrote an article about it. I don't know if you remember. Probably not. That's not okay. No matter what you say, it's not okay to take women to that level and to literally grind them down just to a C cup or a B cup or a D cup or a double D or G. And that's all she is that, hence Hooters. Do you know there's a Hooters next to Trader Joe's where we have to drive 1 hour out of where we live in the middle of the mountains to go to this place? And I said to my son, there's a Hooters there. He goes, oh my God, we've been going there for fucking the whole year. I've never noticed it. He never noticed it. Wow. And what I saw walking through that Hooters were men my age, in their 40s, in their 30s. It's disgraceful. What the fuck are you doing? Why has this been normalized? That's not even okay. So we need to change society. This is not conservative, by the way, just in case you're going, oh, she's being conservative. I am all about Iraq. See, I'd rather have nude statues like they have in Rome or France, where the peepees and the wee-wees are up and they don't have fig leaves, and they're in the middle of town square, and everyone's fucking nude on those beautiful sculptures, and there's passion and fire. There's Neptune with his nice, what do they call? I forgot. His daughters. These beautiful, beautiful nude statues that here in this country right here, they would never have. But they have Hooters. Make it make sense. But they have Hooters. Make it make sense. I remember telling the story, and I'll tell it to you again, where there was a lamp. I was like 30, I think I was like 31, 32, and my colleague at work told me about a lamp that her father had. It was the nude bust of a woman, and her stepmother had just moved into the house, married, and knitted. I'm not joking here. Knitted a crocheted vest to put over the fucking bust of the lamp. I go, why in the fuck didn't she just sell the lamp? That's like sick beyond sick, in my opinion. When you go to France in the summer, no one's wearing a bra. No one. No one gives a fuck about NIPPLES, yet everyone's obsessed with that shit here, with little pads. Oh, I just don't want that to show. God forbid they should see I'm a woman. We have to change shit because it's fucking skewed. We have to start being in our sensuality, in our Shakti energy, and we're not asking for attention. Men, holster your fucking root chakra. It's that simple. Because nudity does not equate sex. It doesn't. Okay? Women who want to wear shorts and have beautiful legs, that's their fucking business. Holster your root chakra. Holster it, my friend. Control yourself. And start calling men out who say weird ass comments like old enough for me. Start calling men out. Real men call out men. Beta, zetas. Real men do that. Fake men, weak men. By the way, the most dangerous men are weak men. They're the most dangerous. It's not alpha males you need to be afraid of. It's the betas and zetas. The red pillars. The ones that want to be like Andrew Tate and never will be. Never. By the way, he has sex problems. Haven't you noticed? He has he's got smart things to say on other things, but when it comes to his sexuality, he needs healing. And he'll never get it. I know that because he's too arrogant. People look up to that shit. They look up to Dan Penna. Look him up, Dan Penna, this multimillionaire, supposed dude. He's now infamous for being in front of Christmas trees telling people that they should have 300 gifts under a tree and that's what makes you successful. I mean, like I said, masculine. Please watch Dan Penna. Go on YouTube. I want you to do this. Go on YouTube and look at the men sitting there listening to Dan Penna like he's a god. Please listen. And they have their, monogram shirts at the sleeves with the cufflinks and the tie that was handmade for them and the suit that's, they're well dressed. They're very rich. They want to be richer. But that's not what makes a man. That's not what makes a man. That is not an alpha male. That is not alpha male sitting in those chairs. Because an alpha male is his own man. He's a lone wolf and he goes back to the pack to take care of his community, to take care of his pack, or in this case, humans. And we are the wombs that bred that shit. Let's not forget, we're the ones that push that shit into the world, and then we're complaining. Imagine the balls. Pretty wild, isn't it? We're the ones that raised that shit. My father was raised by 2 women because his mother and father died by the time he was 12. They were gone. So he was raised by Aunt Sissy, I'll tell you, and his grandmother. Okay? And she was a badass bitch. And she actually, because of what was going on with certain things, she was doing certain things on this. In other words, she owned a car during the Depression. That's in New Jersey. She did all kinds of weird shit to make money. She was a hustler. And she didn't take any bullshit. He was raised by two strong, powerful women that grew him into a real fucking man. When World War II happened, and he asked her, am I going to die? She goes, no, baby, you're not going to die. You'll come back. You go and do your duty. And he went into the European stage and he made it. I think she lied, to be honest. I don't think she fucking knew. I really don't. But he had such respect for her that her words were gold. And he walked out of there with one testicle. Yes, he got shot there. So it's pretty interesting, isn't it? How men are grown. They're grown by women. Let's never forget that. Stop complaining over the fucking betas, zetas, incels, bullshit, red pillars. You fucking created them. We better do better. It's on us. It's in our hands. And hating your ex and using your son as a conduit to your hate for your ex, you are a corrupted, feminine, toxic shit show. And you need to get your ass fixed. Not okay. Not fucking okay. All right? You got to do better. Okay? For people who are on welfare, you got free fucking mental health care. Go get it. Go. I'm so fucking pissed at that ex. He did this. He cheated on me. He stole my money. And I'm so angry. I think I'm going to take it out on my son. Okay, go into therapy, my friend. Immediately. Be honest with you. The thing about this spiritual journey is radical honesty, even if it hurts you. Even if you hurt your own feelings going, I am fucked up. Good, let's go. I've had to do it. I'm fucked up on X, Y. Okay, yeah. I gotta fucking fix that. Like, I don't like that about myself. This is one of the reasons why you don't think I did ayahuasca for the fuck of it, right? I hope you realize I did all of these medicines. I went, I am so sick of me as I am now. I need a massive fucking shift. I'm going in, all in. And that's what I did. I had to, because I did not like my own company. It was almost like I had gone through a massive evolution, more evolutions, triggering on my twin. Not his fault. God bless him. He actually did what he was supposed to do. And I got to see the shadows. I had somehow, oh, I healed that shit. No, I hadn't healed that shit, nor that shit, nor that other shit. And then that's when I realized I had to do something drastic. Personally, me, right? I'm not saying you do it. I'm saying that's what I did. And that's what it took for me to go, holy fuck. And that was the beginning of a new consciousness. But you got to be honest. I mean, you can't, right? And I'm saying that for the masculine as well as the feminine. You got to be honest. If you have a mother wound, which I did a little live a couple days ago on the mother wound to the masculine, because I'm really this is the most important thing for me to talk about, because no matter how you slice it, we women push them out into the world. No matter how you slice it, you were the container to that masculine child before it was conceived inside of you. You push it out into the world. You were probably the first or second person to hold that child, that masculine, into your arms. And from then on, it just started, happening. And how you developed the relationship with this boy. The mother wound isn't just something that came out of nowhere. And I know that the infrastructure that we have today does not, in America, just straight up, in particular, we are the hardest. I've always said that we are the hardest working people in the Western world. No one outranks us in the hard working levels that we take on, the hours of toiling, of overtimes, of working from the house, taking the laptop or doing more work or emailing ourselves to finish projects at home. No one does that like we do in the Western world. And that puts us in a situation where we're disconnected from our children. We're not having quality time with our kids. And that's why you're seeing so many parents who are in separation from their adult children. Their adult children want nothing to do with them. And I keep telling my client, stop fucking putting your kid in one thing after another. Oh, I'm taking the hockey game, and now I'm taking them to the ballet, and then I'm taking them to the this and that and the other. Stop. My son had the hockey season. That was it. When that ended, then he had the math. And that was it. Just math. That was it. And there was no other thing. He went once a week. I think it was like once a week or twice. I don't forget. Something like that. The rest of the time we were hiking, hanging around, doing things together, watching movies together, doing board games together, doing this together. In other words, he was not overscheduled for fucking activities. What is this? What is this obsession to overschedule your children? So other people get a hand in them. They're all making money off your fucking sweat and blood and tears. And meanwhile, you're not connecting with your kid. So when he was in an activity, that was it. When he was horseback riding, that was a horseback riding season. And that's all he did. That was it. Twice a week. And that was it. And then that was done. Then it was hockey. That was done. Then it was math. That was done. Do you see what I'm saying? But he was not scheduled to 5 things 5 days a week. Who the fuck does that? I mean, really, who the fuck does that? I'm not kidding. Why are you guys doing that? I'd rather see you take your kid to Nepal, to Accra, Ghana, to Japan, to Indonesia, to anywhere. Take your kid on a fucking plane out of the country to see how other people live. Do that. Spend your money on that. All of these activities you want to schedule. Oh, yes, let's do this. No, take that money. Calculate how much. That's $500 a week. Holy fuck, I didn't even realize. Okay, $500 a week. I'm going to put that aside. That's $2,000 a month. Let's just say hypothetically. I'm going to save that for 6 months. I'm taking my baby to Tunisia, to Madagascar, to New Zealand, to Australia. We're going for a month or 2 weeks. I'm taking my whole 2 weeks vacation. I'm taking my kid on the fucking plane. Do that. Do that. That's smart. And then see what kind of kid you raise. You'll raise an extraordinary kid who will actually imagine taking your kid to Peru. Taking your kid to Peru and saying, you see these tomatoes? Italians didn't have tomatoes until they found Peru. Until they found Peru, there were no tomatoes in Italy. There were no tomato sauce. There was no tomato pizza. There was none of that. Really, mommy? Yep. See these potatoes? That's how you raise children. You give them history while they travel. You give them language, smells, sounds, everything in their brains being activated. Most likely, if you're going to that country, it's a past life connection. In the first place, you're activating your kid in probably long forgotten memories of past lives in that country. Trust me, if you're going to Peru, Ireland, Scotland, whatever, you're going there because you've got a divine appointment for activation. You're not just going there randomly. Trust me. Don't do cruise ships. I'm being honest. Don't do cruise ships. Travel. Sit. Be in a hotel. Like, for example, I'll never forget us living in Madrid for like a living. We were there for 2 weeks. In the summer, which is the worst fucking time you can be there because it's hot as fuck. And I remember, I think I was 10, probably, I don't remember, maybe 9. And one of the memories, my mom passing out, and the city of Madrid coming alive at around 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. Holy fuck, jumping until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's still a wonderful memory. And being in the town square, Madrid is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I never went back, but wow, what a beautiful city. Those are the things you want to give your children, not fucking activities that are based on nothing. Okay? That's my advice to you. Take it or leave it. But we are responsible for the men walking around who are beta zetas. And all I have to see is look at the woman who raised the beta zeta and go, okay. Okay. You want to raise somebody who is irreverent, who questions authority and everything in between that. You want someone who gives respect to those who have earned it. Respect is not something you hand over to someone. That's toxic. A 3-year-old kid has a right to refrain from giving respect to an elder if they don't feel like it, because it might be a 3-year-old, but let me remind you, it is an ancient soul encased in a 3-year-old body who chose to say, I'm not going to be a walk-in. I want to be diapered. I want to get this bond with my mom, my dad, or if my dad's gone, just me and my mom. I get it. I want to go through being spoon-fed. I want to learn how to read. I want to experience being a child again. I actually want the innocence of being a 5-year-old and rolling down the hill and laughing until I think I just see incredible colors and everything explodes into colors, and I'm just so happy, and I see birds, and I just connect with nature in such a way. I want to be a kid. I want to start from the very beginning. I want that. And that's what needs to happen. We need to change the way we raise our children, how our expectations, how we bond with our children, what we connect, what we expose them to with our children. When a kid doesn't want and learn and doesn't like to read, it's because you didn't teach them the love of reading. It's your fucking responsibility, not the teacher's. Every night from the time he was 10 days old, because, after giving birth, 28-hour labor, you can imagine. But on the 10th day of his life, I started with the board books, 10, 15 board books a night, him laying down on the bed, me laying down next to him, levitating the books above us, right? So he could see, putting my finger in all the words, good night, moon, again and again, repetition, same board books for the first year of his life. 15 every night, and then picture books. And then Khalil Gibran, reading poetry, esoteric thoughts, philosophy. Why? Well, because the soul knows, and because it's soothing to hear mommy read. And because it puts the kid to sleep. And as he progressed, Harry Potter, A Wrinkle in Time. I could go on and on. Does that make sense? It's not the school's responsibility to teach your kid how to read. It's yours. Yours. And I can't tell you how many kids don't even know their mother's phone numbers. And yeah, I'm telling you, when my kid was 5, he knew my phone number. He knew how to write his name. He knew my phone number, and he was doing math sheets like it was cake, like he was eating, like it was like fun. Math sheets. Using his fingers like an abacus. Don't let public schools fucking take away what you've taught your kid. If your kid is regressing, call him to the fucking carpet and go, this is it. He's using his, or she's using her fingers. Back the fuck off. Back off. You have to be strong parents, foot to ass to these fucking supposed experts. They're not experts. They went to school. They were brainwashed into saying what they needed to say to get their exams, to get their fucking degrees. That's not to put you down, those of you who have your degrees. Just please listen to what I'm saying and why I'm saying it like that. That's to say they were told. Because if they did not do and pass the exam like they were told, they were outliners and they were going to not pass. Do you understand? When you actually originate new concepts, you're going to fucking shake the cage. And that pisses people off. And they have the power to pass you or not. Do you know how many people get their PhDs and they write their dissertation based on an easy thing? An easy thing that's been done fucking a million times, millions of times, instead of doing, and every blue moon you'll have someone who's brilliant, who's an originator of thought, who will do their dissertation that becomes a book that gets published and picked up by a publisher because it's so fucking amazing. That takes work. That takes going against the grain. But my point is, as a parent, your child, because we're going all the way back to why we have fucking incels and betas and zetas and toxic alpha, fucking fake alphas. It's your job to make sure your kid knows this, that, and the other. The basic fundamental foundation. And then the philosophical aspect of right and wrong. That's your job. Your fucking job to tell them. If they start doing the Bible in school, right? Let's say you start making that a excuse me, I'm saging. They make it mandatory to learn the Bible in right in public school. It's your job to get the Quran, the Torah, the to talk about Buddha, the Bhagavad Gita. I'm not joking. It's your fucking job. Pull out those books and go, okay, well, let's talk about, this. Let's talk about Greek philosophy. Let's mythology. Let's read about, in fact, they have them in France, and I don't know if they have the fairy tales of India. It talks about Brahmins. It talks about Krishna. It talks about, you get what I'm saying? The fairy tales of Buddha, right? They call them like that. It's called les contes fées du Buddha. And children are taught that. Swear to God, I was reading those books when I was a kid, like 7, 8 years old in France. So buy those books. Buy books like that. Buy books about African fairy tales and Aesop's fables. Aesop's fable. I don't see anybody talking about Aesop's fables. They're awesome. Don't be homogenous in the way you teach your kids how to grow up. Don't do that. Don't be, because I'm Hispanic or black or this, I'm just going to, no, fucking do the whole gamut, all of it. Be a multiracial library for your children. It should be. Multicultural, multiracial, it should be. Black dolls, yellow dolls, red dolls, fucking white dolls. All kinds of shit should be all over the place. That's how you grow good human beings. It doesn't grow itself. It needs your help. And you need to be the expert to your child. And anybody that goes against you in the educational system, public educational, put foot to ass. You can do it politely, but it's still foot to ass. As well as Churchill said, diplomacy is telling someone to go to hell and them looking forward to the trip. There you go. Learn how to do that. All right. I'm going to let you go. Let me see if there's any comments or questions. Hopefully this was a good live for you guys. I hope that it helped you in getting some clarity. I have to work when I was a child. I used to work when I was a child. That's hard. I can't even imagine. Good morning. Perfect life, Tony. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. So I'll upload that. We've had a good Christmas tree jerk circle. Okay, let's see. Last message. Thank you for liking the live. I really appreciate you guys. I'm just going to let you go. I will upload this. Hopefully it's not going to fucking echo like it does. You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you, Jen. And Rachel, I appreciate you. And we're doing so before I go, we're doing the Esoteric Book Club. We started it. We have an amazing group of women. I've invited a man who probably is going to join us after we've done Recall. I'm going to be very blunt. It's a chick book. It's based on twin flames. It's very erotic. I hate the word spicy. That's such a fucking weak word. Again, pasteurizing words. It's erotic, okay? It's erotic. It's triggering. It's irreverent. It's inappropriate, but it's based on twin flame dynamics, and it does have some educational things in it about Catholicism and different things like that. I'm not going to get too into it, but suffice it to say, it's a book that could actually help you understand why you're having a runner chaser, why shit is happening to you in this incarnation, because it's based on a past life in Mesopotamia that's impacting the relationship of a young couple called Daniel and Kat in 1997, right before the Y2K conversion was happening, when everyone was, freaking out. My notification were off for Telegram, so I missed it. Oops, I'm almost done with the book, though. Oh, fantastic. Be honest. How do you like the book? How have you liked the book so far? I mean, nothing's perfect, but how did you like it, Scorpio Life, so far? Do you think it's worth the read? First of all, who are you? Second, I love your mind and would like to know more about you. I am CEC. Who am I? Well, I don't know. My name is Tony. So welcome. And join our Esoteric Book Club, because it sounds like you have a very curious mind. and we're going to be, I've been reading, on the side note, Dream by David Icke. I've been mentioning that. And I think I might throw it on the table and 6 months into our esoteric book club for you guys to kind of decide if you want to read that, or there'll be 3 books. Every time I'll throw 3 books on the table and you guys can hash it out and say, and vote on it. And we'll figure it out, But Dream is there's a lot of shit I don't agree with him on. There's a lot of shit I have to agree on him on. And there's a lot of stuff he wrote that is happening to us as we speak. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So there's a new book he's come out with, which I want to read as soon as I'm done with this one, because I think he's an oracle. I think he actually is psychic, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised. But who am I? I was born in Paris, France in 1962. And I have traveled. By the time I was how do I put that? At the age of 2 months old, I was put in a little box on a plane, and I went on my first plane ride to Africa. I was 2 months old. I've been traveling for the first 14 years of my life. I travel all over the world. And I have to say I was lucky because I got to see, for example, massive poverty and massive wealth, living elbow to elbow, which was, the contrast was so shocking to my little empathic mind that I developed actually depression. I'm going to be right. I was like very depressed at the injustice that was just accepted by people, but it did create a sense of purpose and urgency to right the wrongs. And as I went through my spiritual understanding and remembrance and awakening, right, as a child, I started realizing later on into my, I'd say late 30s, that we were important. Each and every one of us had a voice that was worth speaking. And our voice doesn't mean speaking in the way I'm speaking. I mean writing poetry, writing nonfiction to fictional books, writing or writing songs, or performing dance, painting. There's an incredible painting by Picasso called War. He painted that in the during the I think it was like during World War II, to show the insanity of war. And so we all have a voice, and how we express it is really important. And when you are starseed, you are going to be attacked by the powers that be that want you to stay in your cave of ignorance. So the journey of all of us has been, for many of us, it's been quite lonely. And to be honest with you, some of you bemoan the fact that you're now just waking up. And I can assure you that this was a mercy given to you by right action. And the right action meaning that you were not supposed to wake up and to feel the loneliness of being an awakened starseed at the time that when you were born, when you were going to grade school, you needed to drink the Kool-Aid for a while. They put you to sleep on purpose, and it was to your benefit. And now you're waking up and rubbing the sleep from your eyes with many others, and you can turn around and go, wow, there's another one just like me. I'm not, and you're not going to be alone. There's a lot of people who think like you, who want this 5D new earth, who know it's possible, who are trying to toggle between their 3D, mental cemented cage to 5D and above expansive consciousness of what's possible. And these two realities are constantly colliding. And this is why meditation splits you from this warring, this tug of war, this tsunami of waves crashing against each other. It's quite emotional. It can be quite triggering. It can make you afraid. It can make you feel like you're going through psychosis. And I feel that very few people are going through psychosis. I don't think it's as common as you think. I know people are saying it is, that it's a rite of passage. I don't believe it is. I think you need to listen to people like that resonate with you, like Sasha Stone. You don't have to agree with everything people say. In fact, don't. But what hits you and what feels good to you is very much what you need to develop in yourself. And in your meditation, you'll have aha moments. In your walking meditation, meaning in silence, walking your dog, walking yourself, walking with your kids, you're going to have downloads. And make sure to text yourself those downloads so you don't forget, things like that. But anyway, if you want to join the Esoteric Book Club, the first book is Recall. And feel free to join. I would love to have you join. I love the book. It's helping me understand some aspects between me and my twin. Fantastic. I love that. So, Cecilia, feel free to join us on the Esoteric Book Club if you want. What's the next book, Brent? Oh, hey, that's you. How are you? Um, the next, I don't know. We're gonna vote on it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna vote on it. We're gonna finish. We need to finish Recall first, so that will launch the next three books that might be looked at. Right. One of the books that I think would actually come on discussion, Rachel, correct me if you think I'm wrong. Tell me what other books you think. But I was thinking the Gnostic Gospel would be a quick read right after Recall, in my opinion, because the Gnostic Gospel, less than 150 pages, would get us to understand the dynamics and the destructions and the reasoning behind bastardizing Yeshua and Mary Magdalena. That's very important. Very, very important. It's the very epicenter of why we're playing out the twin flame runner chaser dynamic. It started with that. Judeo-Christian ideals of a woman's place and some of these aspects that were hashed out during many councils, of bishops hashing out if women had a soul, things like that. It goes back to the Bhagavad Gita. It's discussed in the Bhagavad Gita whether or not, they didn't discuss it. They basically said that women and cattle, okay? And that was one of the red flags I had about that. I was like, yeah, I don't think so. The other premise was that women were incarnating as a punishment because we'd fucked up as masculines. I was never going to fucking absorb that as my reality. Never. We are the bringer of souls. We are the container of lives. I've been a man before. I've been a Viking warrior. I used to treat my wife like shit. I've discussed it in many of my lives, and I couldn't understand why I remembered these incarnations that really weren't putting me on the pedestal, let me just say, at all. And now I know why. So I could understand that I too was not innocent, that I too had been a masculine that was a toxic masculine. And that was important. Okay. That was more important than finding out that sometimes, I had incarnations where I was a good man, a really, really good man. I'm sure I was. I wouldn't doubt it. But what was important is for me to stop the male hating, bashing shit within myself. And I've discussed it with my son. I've discussed it with my friends. And even in lives, I've said, when I was a teenager, I did not like men at all. So I understand the male bashing, but I also understand that this is not going to get us where we need to go. Like, I get it, girls, but been there, done that. And I'm no longer that. And I'm glad of it. I'm much better off without that kind of weird, blinded, feminine, rabid rage against the masculine. That's not going to get you where you want to go. And it's going to actually annihilate your own masculine power to make shit happen in the material world. The magician in tarot is bringing into 3D the successes of those desires. The high priestess is the feminine energy who intuitively knows when, how, why this desire is important, and the timing. And the magician is the masculine that makes it happen in 3D. It materializes those desires based on the high priestess's intuition of today's the day. The planets are aligned. Do it today. You know what I mean? Whatever that move is, whatever today is, to make something come into the material world, right? So we need those two aspects within us. We need this. We need to understand the balance of the masculine and feminine within ourselves. But we also need to experience that with a beloved, right? And so a good man, a balanced man, is very much in tune. A good alpha male, a real alpha male, is in tune with his feminine energy because it gives him the intuition. And a beautiful Shakti, beautiful feminine energy is in tune with her masculine. And that's the end of it. And when we reject either parts of ourselves, right, we actually, it's like cutting off your arm, your leg, your left leg and your left arm. It's as stupid as that. You might say, that's not the same. Oh yeah, it's the same. It's the fucking same. Okay. Now you have one arm and one leg. Good luck. Okay. You can't do that. You're not going to be in balance. And hate begets hate. Hate is a frequency. Whenever you're angry at something to that level of continuum, right, you are going to attract that. Well, no shit. Frequency match frequency. And that is a problem I think people aren't talking about, who are hell-bent on proving that they don't need men, they don't need women. It goes both ways. It's like a fucking tennis match that never fucking ends. No one wins. So I understand where it comes from, trust me, but I also understand that it will get you nowhere. I mean, I had to go through that journey myself. So it's not like, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, just be aware. All right. So Esoteric Book Club, if you want to join, hit me up. How would you hit me up? Let me think. Well, there's a link on my link tree, and it says Starseeds Awakening, I believe, or it could say Esoteric. I forgot, actually. It's on Linktree on my profile. Scroll down. You'll see it. It's a white strip. And just go ahead and click on that. Join Telegram. It's going to be on Telegram. And then we will do Zoom. And you can show your face or not. It's up to you. I don't give a shit. No one cares. But we will talk about the book. And then when we're done with Recall, we'll choose, 3 other books. We'll vote on it. And if you guys don't vote on it quick enough, then I'll vote on it. I'm just right up. Our first meeting is February 13th, which is Thursday. And I forgot the time. I think, it's 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. West Coast. And that seems to be a good day and we'll change the days constantly. I'm not, because I also want my UK and my European people to come in, because I want you to be exposed to different thoughts and cultures and this and that. So sometimes we'll do it on a Sunday, and we'll do it at, say, 1 o'clock Eastern. So you'll have to get up a little early if you're sleeping in on a Sunday or Saturday. And then we'll make sure that we can get our UK people, or people from Norway, or people from the rest of, Europe. I mean, it's not like we have a huge crowd, by the way, just don't mistake that. But I'm saying, and that will give you exposure as to cultural differences, perceptional differences, and so forth. And again, Recall's the first book. I'm not making any money on it. Trust me. It's being sold for $11.11. I would recommend you buy the book. The font is big. You can underline it. You can take your notes on that. Any other book that, like Gnostic Gospel, what else will we, I don't know. I came up with another book. I'd like to read some scholarly shit, but I'm not sure. Again, you're going to vote on it. You guys will vote. And most of the books we're going to be reading are on eBay. Sometimes Amazon is cheaper. Sometimes eBay is cheaper. Sometimes Thrift Books is cheaper. Try to give the money to the mom and pops out there, and especially if Amazon's is the same price as, whatever. So I think 2 weeks into the Esoteric Book Club, 2 weeks into Recall, we'll go ahead and choose the next book ahead of time, so you can buy it ahead of time. So you're not we're not lagging in the book club. And it's a year's commitment. When I say commitment, I mean it's a year. It's from, from February to January of next year. Some of you won't always be able to make it. It's okay. We'll vote on whether or not we're going to actually record the Zoom. So if you want to listen to it later, it will be a link on YouTube. It will be private. And, but we'll vote on that, because some of you may want to record, some of you may not. I don't know. You guys, again, it's a round table thing. You know what I mean? Okay. So let me know. And when I say, thank you, Diane. Welcome. You're a psychologist. I don't think you can be a psychic without having some psychology curiosity thrown in the mix. I think you have to add all of that together. It's a whole mixed bag. You know what I mean? And sexologist, because that's psychology. It's all connected. It's all connected. And then we can talk freely. I mean, don't worry. You can't fucking upset anyone. No one's going to get upset. You can say whatever the fuck you want. I'm trying to get men in the group. And Recall may not have any man in the group, and that's okay. That's cool, whatever. But after that, I'm hoping that we can have the masculine voice involved. And because it's they'll be able to learn from us. We'll be able to learn from them. I'm looking at my bookshelf, and there's some books I'm actually going ahead and buying to just prepare myself, like Journey of Souls. I think it'd be great if we could actually all share Journey of Souls. You know what I mean? I think that'd be a great book for us to hash out together and really go into the weeds into why that book is so important for so many, we may actually go into the weeds and read Rudy Tanza's, what the hell is it called? It's called Super Brain. And we could actually vote on it, Super Brain or Super Genes, That was one of my twin's favorite two books. He loved those books. He loved a lot. I mean, the man read over 3,000 or 4,000 books. I'm not kidding. I think more than that. But he loved those two. He loved Rudy Tanza and Deepak Chopra. And a lot of people have forgotten about Deepak Chopra. He's an incredible force. What else? Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural. I always mention that book. There's tons of books he's written. Like, what is it? That's an interesting a book that would be interesting. My twin read that as a masculine. Okay, he read, believe it or not, from cover to cover, Women Who Run with the Wolves. And so, if men wanted to, go through that book with us, that would be amazing. If you guys vote on it, if you guys vote on that book, and we actually read that book from cover to cover, and men are part of that, that would be interesting because of what they would learn from the feminine psyche, meaning their own psyche when they were incarnated as females, and how this is impacting them in this incarnation. One of my, I don't want to keep bringing up my son, but I have to in a way. He said he had many incarnations as a feminine, and there was a lot of abuses from men. He said that himself. And he said, and so I wanted to be a man so I could be strong, so I could take care of myself, so I would not be victimized by masculines. And he was getting a lot of this incarnation feedback from incarnations in the 1800s, turn of the century, 1900s. And it was very impactful, right? So some of you who are masculines may have had something similar where you were incarnating as you were having a lot of incarnations as feminines that made you feel unsafe, brutalized, whatever, and you decided to incarnate as a masculine to right the wrongs, to feel safe. I don't know. I'm just saying that it could be something that I don't think he's the only one who chose a masculine body to experience what it would be to be in a state of, he can walk at 3:00 in the morning anywhere the fuck he wants, anywhere in the world, basically. And you and I both know that you and I can't as feminines. You know that. Okay? And that right there is a reality that I think men need to understand what that really means. What does that really mean? And in some parts of the world, women aren't even allowed to walk, period. Talk, walk, nothing. It's not okay. This needs to change. The new earth does not connect with that kind of fucking fuckery. It's not going to continue. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. I don't know what's going to happen, but that is going to collapse on its own. Like, if the energy of the feminine is not to hate men, but to change the energetic frequency so that suddenly, out of nowhere, for no fucking reason, suddenly the shit ends, a new government walks in and says, yeah, that shit ends. You're not marrying 9-year-old girls. You're not fucking telling them to shut up. I'll never forget when the Taliban came into Afghanistan, one of the major surgeons in Afghanistan was a woman. She was the best surgeon in the country. And she had to wear those veils that have like grids, like little weaved in grids. I don't know how to describe it. And she couldn't see to fucking do her surgeries, obviously. So overnight, here was an incredibly brilliant surgeon who was relegated to the lowest class of existence. Can you imagine? Is she even alive? Did she unaliven herself? I'm not joking here. Did she escape? Did she somehow fucking cross the deserts and the mountains and escape? And maybe she's in Germany or Italy or whatever. I hope she fucking got out. But even if she got out, you do realize, right, that her education as a doctor would not be recognized in Europe, nor in America, nor anywhere else. She'd have to go all the way back and to go back to school and study all over again. You know that, right? It isn't something just transferable, right? And that's why you see people who are immigrants from those parts of the world who are doctors, PhD, attorneys, judges, things of that nature, levels of education on that. And they're working at a gas station. They're working at a mini mart. And they have 2 PhDs or 1 or whatever, highly, highly educated. And you can tell because there's an elegance about them. There's a certain vibe. And you're like, how the fuck did they end up here? Well, they're immigrants. They immigrated here because their very life was at stake. They had no choice. So they left everything behind. I can tell you, I have heard stories that would fucking make you cry. Stories that should be movies instead of fucking remaking Gladiator 2 and this and that. They're real fucking stories that we need to actually make into movies that are not being made. And I know those screenplays are out there. I know it. But they're not being put in front of the right people. So there's a lot of changes coming. It's energetic change, energetic shifts. And you have to believe in the unseen. You have to believe in the unseen. Whatever you need to do, brainwash yourself out of brainwashing, do it. Watch The Secret again, where the woman's got inoperable, she's got breast cancer. And you see her say, you see the actual x-ray. And what does she say? Thank you for my healing. Thank you for my healing. Watching funny movies for 2 months, 3 months later, 2 months later, I forgot exactly. Gone. It's fucking gone. Energy. Unseen energy that was able to eradicate something on her breath. Gone, 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 gone. So we have to believe in the unseen. We have no other choice. Because Arianna's Huffington's book that everyone is finding, they're so clever how to start a you-know-what, is fucking 3D bullshit. And you are not going to win 3D with 3D bullshit. You're going to win 3D. You're going to fucking overcome 3D with 5D consciousness. Trust me. Trust me. That's why we've been seeing for decades. It was almost to prepare us to understand that the unseen is more powerful than anything you can fathom. That's why we've seen people with the big C literally meditate themselves into health. They've been training us. Whoever the light beings are on the other side, they've been training us. Okay? To understand that the unseen has that kind of fucking power. And to literally change a cellular reality into another cellular reality. It's fucking incredible. And we still get bogged down by the monkey mind. It's fucking amazing. Anyway, I gotta go. I love you all. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you on the flip side of the moon. And go ahead and join. Oh, I just turned it to Allison Armstrong and her work on understanding women and men. Her work is spot on. Hang on. Why did you get blocked here? Deepak Chopra doesn't agree with supplements. I don't agree with that. You don't have to agree with everyone. I don't understand why you guys think that people walk on water. Okay? You don't have to agree on everything people say. There's an old black saying, eat the fish and throw away the bones. Eat what you like and throw the rest away. You don't have to agree with everything people say. That's not how it works. We're not fucking, perfect. We're human beings. We have our own preferences, our own opinions, our own thing. Deepak Chopra probably doesn't like supplements because he's eating the best foods on the fucking planet. He's got a garden. It's organic. It's non-GMO. And he's getting all the nutrients he needs. He doesn't understand that for people who are fucking working 9 to 5, they can't afford the best. They'll eat organic potatoes and buy, GMO eggplant because they got no fucking choice. And at that point, you need supplements. Does that make sense? You got to understand when people are up on they forget. Maybe he never lived like you did or how I did. This is why some of us are a psychic, spiritual teachers or mentors, whatever the fuck you want to call people like us. We've been on the trenches of the 9 to 5 and we know the reality of that. And there are people like Deepak, God bless him, okay? Don't get me wrong. But there are people like him that don't fucking know how the shit works, okay? So thank you for the no supplements idea, Deepak Chopra. Love you to bits. But the reality is, if I don't take X, Y, and Z, I'm fucked. I don't have the energy. I'm taking Shilajit, for example. I'm taking Dr. Schultz powder to get energy, or else I can't get it because I'm not eating enough rich nutrient foods. So my point to your comment is that discernment, understanding. There are people who have celiac disease in America, go to Europe, eat all the fucking bread they want. They're like, holy shit, I can eat pasta, bread. I can't believe it. Does that make sense? So don't get bogged up by the one thing you don't agree. Like, I don't like Andrew Tate, okay? But there's some shit, the man's fucking right on the mark. He's brilliant. Do I like his other shit? No, I don't. But this is where we need to stop putting someone in the trash can forever because you don't agree on one or two things. They're not stupid. A lot of these people aren't stupid. Do you think I believe in everything Joe Rogan believes in? Fuck no. But he has a lot of interesting guests. And there are a lot of things that his guests say that I agree on. There's a lot of things his guests say I don't agree on. We need to be more like that. Please stop judging people that you think are... The black and white thinking is not going to help you in 5D. I'll tell you that right now. No more black and white thinking. You're not fucking 12. Okay? We're not 12. Black and white thinking is a childhood perception. Adults think in multiple grays, and they'll go, I like that. Like Teal Swan, I mention her a lot. I don't like her, honestly, but she's brilliant. There's a lot of shit she says that's fucking brilliant, and she's on point. There's a lot of shit she says I don't fucking agree with. But I'm not going to throw in the trash because I don't agree. And maybe 50% of the shit she says I like, but the other 50%, I'm on board. I'm like, yeah, girl, let's go. You know? Start thinking more like that. Okay, I'm just going to be straight up. I've been learning about supplements for a long time, and some supplements are found in any food. I got you, Gabby. I got you, girl. And so that's what you need to understand, though. Do you understand? There are a lot of things that Deepak Chopra brought to the planet that we did not know about. And it took a Deepak Chopra to bring it. Just like a Paulo Coelho, when he brought in The Alchemist, his book, The Alchemist, it's almost like when you read it, you're like, in fact, I read that book to my kid when he was like, I think he was like 9 or 10. And the Four Agreements, Barrett, my son, loved the Four Agreements when he was quoting the Four Agreements to his teacher as a 12-year-old. And my point is, do I agree with everything these people create? No, not at all. In fact, I don't agree with some of the shit I say. Sometimes I go, wow, I used to believe in that. Now I don't. Does that mean I'm flipping on my opinion? No, it means I'm evolving on my opinion. What I thought was real 5 years ago is no longer real today. What I thought was true 10 years ago, I don't fucking agree with anymore. Does that mean I'm flipping on my choice? No, it means I'm evolving. I'm a constantly evolving multidimensional being. So what I thought was true when I was 30, I know for a fact is not true at 62. No fucking way. I would never believe that today. We have to be kinder to people who evolve. You have to be kinder to yourself as you evolve. Does that make sense? Exactly. Truth redefined as we grow. Exactly. Yeah, for the Four Agreements. Oh yeah, my son was like, because she was yelling at the class, and he pulled out, I wish I could tell you what it was, but he pulled out the Four Agreements, one of the things of the Four Agreements, and she went, you're right. She calmed the fuck down. What state are you from? I'm from Paris, France. But I was born in Paris, France, and my father was from New Jersey. He was a New Yorker. New Jersey is not New York, but damn near the same, in my opinion. And so that's where I'm from. I'm from many things. All right, so I'm going to go because I do have shit to do, as I know you do. I'll upload this on my YouTube channel because it's been over an hour, so I have to. You guessed New Jersey was the accent. That's funny. All right, cool. So if you want to do the Esoteric Book Club, feel free to join. You will be very, very lucky. I'm going to say that. The women in that club are incredible women. They're healers in their own right. They're brilliant. They're reverent. They talk about, I'm proud to say all of them voted for different people, Jill Stein, Trump, and Kamala, and we're all getting along because the one goal we agree on is 5D New Earth. We don't give a fuck about the rest. 5D New Earth, and that's it. Okay? So just so you know. So these are very evolved women. And you would be very blessed, I'm going to be honest, to be around these women. They're wonderful. All right? All right, well, send you much love on the journey. Don't get hustled. If you want a reading from me, if you want a hypnotherapy session, an Akashic reading, go on my website. It's on my Linktree, on my profile. Fill out the intake form and make sure your phone number is there. And I will call you for a pre-book call, and we will talk about what your intention is, what you're looking to get clarity on or healing on. But I will never hit you up and offer you a reading. Please don't get hustled, okay? All right, sending you much love on your journey. Namaste.